Echoes of the Forgotten Magic, Season 1. Whisper of Destiny. Episode 1. The Village of Kamtu. The village of Kamtu wakes slowly with the sunrise, its quiet streets bathed in the soft glow of the morning light. The scent of fresh bread and herbs wafts through the air as villagers begin their day, oblivious to the danger that looms just beyond the hills. Samba, a young man with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor, walks through the streets of Kamtu, taking in the familiar sights. His brow furrows slightly, as if sensing something is not quite right, though there's no immediate sign of trouble. Nearby, two villagers exchange light-hearted conversation. Ben, a tall and broad-shouldered villager, stretches with a yawn, his voice carefree. Quote, "Another peaceful day, huh? We're lucky to live here." He looks out at the rolling hills, unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. Dave, a younger and a bit more cautious villager, nods, his eyes squinting in the sunlight. "Yeah, it feels like nothing could ever go wrong in a place like this." His voice trails off, as though even he knows that peace in Kamtu might not last forever. Samba pauses, his senses heightened, as if the wind carries with it a warning. The villagers go about their lives, unaware of the shadow looming just beyond their peaceful existence. But Samba, always attuned to the subtle shifts in the world, knows better. He can feel it in the pit of his stomach, the calm before the storm. The morning moves forward, as it always does in Kamtu, but for Samba, something is different. The quiet hum of the village, normally so comforting, now feels too still, too perfect. As he walks toward the forest's edge, his unease grows. Samba's sharp eyes scan the horizon. In the distance, where the fields meet the tree line, there's movement, something barely visible, but enough to catch his attention. His instincts tell him to stay calm, but the hairs on the back of his neck prickle. He knows he must investigate. He quickens his pace, the familiar sounds of Kamtu fading as he leaves the village behind. The forest is just ahead, its tall trees standing like silent sentinels. The wind picks up slightly, carrying with it the faintest trace of smoke. A smell that doesn't belong here. Samba stops. His hand instinctively goes to the hilt of the dagger at his waist. His jaw tightens as he crouches, eyes narrowing at the faint trail of smoke rising through the trees. He feels the weight of something unseen pressing down on him. Suddenly, a sharp crack of a branch echoes from the forest. Samba's heart races, but his body remains still, every muscle tensed for action. The forest, once a place of peace and quiet refuge, now feels hostile. Samba's thoughts, steely, focused. Something's wrong. This isn't just a hunter's campfire. The forest feels alive with tension, as if holding its breath. Samba steps forward, disappearing into the shadows of the trees, determined to find the source of the disturbance. Kamtu may still be waking up, but the storm is already closer than anyone realizes. Samba moves silently through the underbrush, his footsteps barely making a sound as he follows the faint trail of smoke deeper into the forest. His senses are on high alert, every rustle of the wind through the leaves sending a pulse of adrenaline through his veins. The further he goes, the heavier the air feels, as if the forest itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to happen. As he approaches the clearing, Samba crouches low, the smoke now thicker, swirling lazily above the treetops. Through the branches he can see the remnants of what was once a small camp. The fire is dying down, but the embers still glow faintly, casting an eerie light over the scene. His eyes narrow as he scans the area, noting the trampled grass and discarded belongings scattered around the clearing. Whoever was here left in a hurry. Samba's thoughts, calm but cautious. No signs of a struggle, but they didn't leave voluntarily. Samba takes a step closer, his fingers brushing the hilt of his dagger as he moves through the edge of the clearing. His heart beats steadily in his chest, though his instincts scream that something is very wrong. Suddenly, a low growl cuts through the silence, deep and threatening. Samba freezes, his hand gripping the dagger now, eyes scanning the shadows. The growl grows louder, and from the darkness, a pair of glowing eyes appear predatory, watching him closely. Samba's muscles tense, and he slowly unsheathes his dagger, ready for what comes next. The creature steps forward, its massive form emerging from the shadows. A black wolf, its fur sleek and shimmering with an unnatural sheen, bares its teeth at him. Samba, calm but determined under his breath. So it begins. The black wolf growls again, a deep, rumbling sound that vibrates through the air. Its glowing eyes lock onto Samba, who remains still, calculating his next move. There's no panic in Samba's gaze, only focus. He has faced threats before, though none quite like this. The wolf circles slowly, its muscles coiled, ready to strike at any moment. The unnatural sheen of its fur, the eerie glow in its eyes. This is no ordinary wolf. There's dark magic at play here. Samba can feel it in the way the air seems to hum with energy. With a sudden burst of speed, the wolf lunges. Samba sidesteps smoothly, his dagger flashing in the dim light as he slashes at the creature's side. The wolf lets out a sharp yelp of pain but quickly recovers, spinning to face him again, its teeth bared and dripping with saliva. Samba, gritting his teeth. "Faster than I thought." The wolf attacks again, its movements almost too quick to follow. But Samba is ready. He ducks under its leap, rolling to the side and coming up in a defensive stance, his dagger raised. His heart pounds in his chest, but his mind is calm, focused. The wolf pauses, growling low, its eyes burning with anger. Blood drips from the shallow wound on its side, but it seems unfazed by the injury. Instead, the creature circles Samba again, slower this time, more deliberate. It's studying him, waiting for a moment of weakness. Samba's eyes narrow as he realizes this isn't just a mindless beast. There's intelligence behind those glowing eyes. The wolf is a hunter, and Samba is its prey, but he won't let it play with him any longer. As the wolf prepares to strike again, Samba moves first, lunging forward with a powerful slash of his dagger. The blade connects with the wolf's neck, and for a moment, there is only silence. The wolf lets out a strangled cry, its body convulsing before it collapses to the ground, motionless. Samba stands over the creature, breathing heavily. He wipes the sweat from his brow and looks down at the wolf's lifeless form, knowing this was only the beginning. Samba, quietly, to himself. "Dark magic. What are you doing here?" The forest around him remains still, but the sense of unease lingers. The wolf was a warning, a sign of what's to come. Samba knows he must return to Kamtu and prepare for whatever is headed their way. Samba wipes his blade clean on the grass, his eyes still locked on the fallen wolf. The creature's dark fur gleams unnaturally, even in death, a clear sign of the twisted magic that lingers around it. This was no mere animal. Something far more dangerous was at work here, and Samba knows the village must be warned. Without wasting another moment, he turns and sprints back toward Kamtu, his feet moving swiftly over the familiar paths through the forest. His mind races as quickly as his legs, trying to piece together what he's just encountered. Dark magic, this close to Kamtu, can only mean one thing. A larger threat is on the horizon. As he nears the village, Samba hears a faint but sharp sound carried on the wind. Something distant but unmistakable. The ringing of a warning bell. His heart skips a beat. He quickens his pace, the trees blurring past him, as his instincts scream that the village is already under threat. When Samba reaches the outskirts of Kamtu, the sight before him stops him in his tracks. A plume of dark smoke rises over the village square, black and thick, tainting the clear morning sky. Shouts of panic fill the air, and people scatter, fleeing from the village center toward the fields. Samba's eyes lock on the source of the commotion. A group of figures, cloaked in shadows, stands at the edge of the village. They are too far to make out clearly, but their presence is unmistakable. Dark mages, their power radiating through the air like a cold wind, and they have come to Kamtu with a message. Samba grips the hilt of his dagger, his mind racing. The wolf wasn't the threat. It was only a prelude. These dark mages are the real danger. He takes a deep breath and starts forward, his body tense, ready for the inevitable confrontation. One of the mages steps forward, raising a hand. The dark smoke billows higher, swirling unnaturally around the village square. The villagers scatter, some trying to help others to safety, but the mages don't attack, not yet. Instead, the lead mage speaks, their voice low and cold, filled with an eerie calm. Lead mage, voice carrying, emotionless. We come with a message for the one called Samba. Surrender the artifact, or face destruction. Samba's heart pounds in his chest, the weight of the words hitting him like a blow. He steps forward, knowing that he has no choice but to confront them. His village, his people. Everything is at stake. The air grows thick with tension as Samba strides toward the village square, his dagger at the ready. The cloaked mages stand unmoving, their presence a dark, suffocating weight on the atmosphere. The villagers scatter around him, some watching in fear, others hurrying to hide. But all eyes are on Samba. His heart beats steadily, though his mind churns with questions. How do they know his name? What artifact are they talking about? He doesn't know, but he does know one thing. These mages cannot be allowed to harm his people. As he steps into the square, the lead mage turns toward him, their face obscured by a hood, but the power radiating from them is palpable. The other mages remain still, watching silently, their dark cloaks fluttering lightly in the wind. The smoke from their magic still swirls ominously around them. Lead mage, voice cold, steady. Samba, you know why we've come. Samba clenches his jaw, eyes narrowing. His hand tightens on the hilt of his dagger. I don't know what you're talking about, he replies, his voice calm but laced with defiance. The mage chuckles, a sound devoid of warmth. You lie to yourself, the artifact you possess. It is not yours to keep. Samba's mind races, but his face remains composed. Artifact? He has no idea what they mean. But he can't show weakness now. The village depends on him. Samba, firmly. Whatever you think I have, you're mistaken. Leave now, and no one gets hurt. The lead mage takes a slow step forward, raising their hand. The smoke coils tighter, and a low hum of dark energy pulses through the air. The other mages remain silent, but the tension is rising. Lead mage, voice icy. You do not understand the power you play with. The artifact belongs to us. Surrender it, or Kamtu will burn. The threat is real, and Samba knows it. He can feel the immense magical power that these mages wield. But something inside him refuses to back down, refuses to be intimidated. His village, his home, he will defend it, no matter what. Samba, determined. I won't let you touch this village. There's a brief moment of silence, and then, without warning, the lead mage strikes. A bolt of dark energy shoots from their hand, crackling through the air straight towards Samba. But Samba is quick. He dodges to the side, rolling out of the way just as the ground where he stood erupts in a spray of dirt and smoke. The villagers gasp, fear spreading through the crowd as the dark magic scorches the earth. But Samba doesn't stop. He charges forward, his dagger gleaming as he makes a direct line for the mage. Lead mage, voice cold, unfazed. Foolish boy. The mage raises their hand again, preparing another attack, but Samba is already upon them, his dagger flashing through the air as he swings at the mage's outstretched arm. Samba's dagger slices through the air with precision, aimed directly at the lead mage's arm. But the mage is fast. With a flick of their wrist, a shield of dark energy materializes, blocking the blow just before the blade can make contact. Sparks of magic crackle between them as Samba's blade is deflected with a forceful shockwave, sending him stumbling back. Lead mage, calm, menacing. You think you can stop us, boy? You are nothing against this power. Samba grits his teeth, his heart pounding but his resolve unshaken. He can feel the power radiating from the mages, thick and suffocating, but he refuses to give in. He can't let them take Kamtu, not while he's still standing. Without hesitation, the lead mage gestures again, and two of the other mages step forward, their hands glowing with dark energy. Before Samba can react, they unleash twin bolts of magic, hurtling toward him with deadly accuracy. Samba dives to the side, rolling to avoid the blasts as they crash into the ground where he stood, sending dirt and debris flying through the air. He lands in a crouch, breathing heavily, his eyes locked on the mages. Samba's thoughts, focused, determined. I need to find an opening, I can't keep dodging forever. The villagers, now huddled behind buildings and market stalls, watch in fear as the battle unfolds. Some are ready to flee, but others, those who know Samba well, stay, hoping that somehow he will find a way to protect them. The lead mage watches Samba closely, their dark eyes gleaming with amusement. It's clear that they enjoy toying with him, confident in their superiority. They raise their hand again, but this time the magic they summon is different, stronger, darker. The air around them crackles with energy as they prepare to unleash a powerful spell. Samba's heart skips a beat. He can feel the danger in the air, the intensity of the magic building around the mage. He has to act now, or it's over. Just as the mage unleashes the spell, a massive wave of dark magic surging toward him, Samba charges. With all his strength he sprints straight toward the mage, his dagger gleaming in the sunlight. The dark magic rushes at him like a storm, but Samba doesn't stop. Samba, gritting his teeth, determined. Not today. At the last possible second, Samba dives forward, rolling under the wave of magic as it passes over him. The ground behind him erupts in a violent explosion, but Samba keeps moving, his eyes locked on the lead mage. Before the mage can react, Samba's dagger finds its mark. With a swift, precise strike, he slashes at the mage's arm, cutting deep. The mage lets out a gasp of pain, stumbling back as their concentration breaks. The dark magic dissipates, and the village falls into a brief, tense silence. The other mages watch in shock as their leader falters, blood dripping from the wound on their arm. For a moment they hesitate, unsure of how to proceed. Lead mage, breathing heavily, voice cold. You will regret this. Samba stands tall, his dagger still in hand, his chest heaving from the exertion, his eyes blaze with determination. He knows the fight isn't over, but he's not backing down. Samba, steady, resolute. Leave Kamtu, now. The lead mage glares at him, fury simmering beneath their calm exterior. But they say nothing more. Instead, they signal to the others, and in a swirl of dark smoke, the mages retreat, vanishing into the shadows from which they came. The village is left in stunned silence. The smoke begins to clear, and the villagers slowly emerge from their hiding places, their faces a mix of awe and fear. Samba lowers his dagger, his body exhausted but his spirit unbroken. He has won the battle, but the war is far from over.